Okay, listen, I'm out here trying to eat a snack. Do not judge me. Hello, people. How are you? How you doing? How your mama doing? I'm sorry, I should never be eating this in the middle of trying to do a Facebook Live. So let me put my Reese's Pieces down. Listen, I wanted to jump on and talk about. Let me see if I can make this a little bit. That's gonna have to do. I wanted to jump on and talk to my early stage coaches today. So if you are in the aspiring stage, maybe you're in the first year of your business, this is definitely for you. Truth is, it applies to more than that, but I'm specifically targeting people who are in the idea phase, right? I got all these ideas. I don't know where to start. This is for you, okay? So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Lachelle Barnett. I'm a personal brand strategist, which just means I help coaches package their expertise into $1 million curriculum. All right, that's all that means. So I wanted to jump on today because because we're getting ready to walk into quarter 2, right? And one of the things that we've been talking about in our tribe is how to prepare for quarter 2. How do I get different results in quarter 2 than what I have right now? Okay. So part of it is just understanding I don't want to be in the same place in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Like I want to be able to walk out of quarter 2 in a different spot, which that means we got to start now. So that's part of the reason why we're having this conversation. But the other reason is because we serve a lot of coaches who are early in their journey. And one of the questions that we get asked the most, where do I start? Right? I'm not exactly sure what I should be doing and what I should not be doing. Right? And so that's the purpose of today's video. It's like, okay, I want to get out of the idea phase because I literally talk to people all the time who are aspiring coaches. And I say, okay, well, when are you planning on launching your brand? And they say, a month or two or, whatever their time frame is. And then 3 months later, they're in the same spot. And then 4 months later, they're in the same spot. And 6 months later, and I just want us to agree, like if you are an aspiring coach, drop aspiring coach in the chat, okay? And just declare I will not be in the idea phase after quarter 2, right? In quarter 2, I will have launched my business. And we're going to talk about what does that look like? Like, what do I need to be clear about? What do I need to be doing in order for that to be my story by the end of Q2? Okay. All right. So the first thing that I want us to understand is that there is a lot to building a brand. There is a lot to managing this online space. There is a lot to just being a coach, right? And so one of the things that we have to learn to do is prioritize. Okay. We have to learn to decide, okay, I got this to do, this to do, this to do, but what do I need to do first? Because this training or this video that I'm talking about now is about moving the needle in your business. This is not about making $1 million or hitting some kind of big revenue goal. It is about how am I not in the same spot that I was right now? Like here is where I'm at right now from a clarity perspective, from a monetary perspective, from an excitement, from a momentum, like we can measure ourselves. And I do not want to be in that spot 30 days from now or 60 days, and particularly by the end of quarter 2. Okay. So here are the 3 things that I want you to start getting clear about and focusing your attention on as you're walking into quarter 2. Okay. So the first one is you getting really, really crystal clear about what your gift is, right? So one of the things that we talk about all the time is that we don't build businesses based on your passion, right? I know that's a lot. A lot of people talk about that, but in this camp, we understand that passion plays a role, but it is not the leading thing that allows you to be profitable. It is not the leading thing that allows you to stay in alignment, right? It's not the leading thing that allows you to love your business, right? The thing that allows you to love your business and be profitable and make crazy impact is, guess what? Operating from your gift. Okay. Operating from your gift, not your passion. So your first responsibility is to understand, well, what is my gift? Most of us happen to be multi-talented or multi-passionate, or we're not exactly sure which gift, we're supposed to be building our business on, but this is your first step. Your first step is to understand. It's super important. Alignment is super important. Our first responsibility is to understand I got all of these gifts, I got all of these talents, I got all of these skills. Which is the one that I'm going to build my brand around? Okay. And that can be a tough decision sometimes. But if you have a formula, like we have a process that we walk our clients through, then it becomes much easier. You don't have to stay stuck trying to figure out that for a whole 30 days. No, that can be identified in a session in an hour. Okay. So, but here's what happens when you get clear about what your gift is, not just your passion, it boosts your confidence, right? So, part of the reason why you're still in the idea phase is because there's a lack of confidence. Well, part of the lack of confidence is because I don't really have a blueprint. I don't really know what I'm doing. Anytime you're stepping into something new or something that is uncomfortable, guess what? Confidence is going to be a little questionable, right? So, how do we shore up the confidence? Well, we start getting clarity about the key pieces that are necessary for you to get out of the idea phase, right? So, the moment that you get clear about, okay, here's the one thing, here's the thing that I am better at than the average person on the planet, your confidence boosts, okay? So that's your first step. Your first step is to identify your gift, not just your skills, not just your passion, but your gift. Why? Your gift is what makes room for you. All right, so that's the first thing. If you know what your gift is, drop it in the chat. Because here's what I find. I find pretty often is that what people think their gift is, like they're not even able to recognize what their true superpower is because it comes so naturally to us, right? It's like, oh, this is just the thing that I do. And so a lot of times people struggle with identifying what's that one gift that I'm building my business around, okay? All right, so that's the first thing that I want you to be able to start doing before you launch, okay? As you're working on launching, don't try to figure this out after you hang your shingle. You done created graphics and you done started a website and you done started doing all these things, but you're doing it out of alignment. You're doing it out of order. Okay, out of order doesn't produce results, right? What we don't do is go off and create websites and all these things when we aren't clear about what we're doing. We're not clear about the direction, okay? All right, so the second thing that you need to start focusing on and getting clear on, again, this is about prioritizing, is who is it that I'm going to serve? Sometimes people talk about the problem, but the truth is you need to focus on the person first, right? Skill, gift first. And then after that, you're going to figure out, okay, who is the person that I should be using? Who is the person that is attached to this gift, right? Who am I called to serve, right? And the reason why we put this next versus, really digging into the problem or different other pieces of your business is because the who is going to determine the specific problem. My skill set can help you identify a general problem, right? So let's just say my skill set was systems, okay? That happens to be one of my gifts, is the gift of systems. And so the question becomes, if I focus on, okay, well, what problem am I going to solve? Well, what one avatar or one ideal client, what problem they have is going to be different than another ideal client. So generally, it's like, oh, well, systems save you time. So the problem that I'm solving is saving time. Okay. But systems do a lot of things. It's not just saving you time, right? It might be freeing you up to duplicate yourself. It might be freeing you up to do more of what you love. Like the specific problem comes from the audience. That's what I want you to catch. And in this online space where everything is becoming more and more saturated, guess what? You have to learn to stand out. Part of how you stand out is by being specific. Okay. So your second responsibility is to get clear about the who. Who is your avatar? And I just want to put this warning, red flashing lights, okay, is that a lot of times people pick the wrong avatar. One, because they have a nonprofit mindset. And it's like, oh, I want to help the person who doesn't really, have the ability to. No, if you can't help somebody that doesn't have the ability to help themselves, not yet. That's a nonprofit, right? If you're going to serve a group of people who doesn't have the money or doesn't have the mindset or doesn't have the whatever to actually benefit from your services, well, then you're building a nonprofit, right? So part of the biggest mistake that I see people making is that your audience doesn't have the ability to pay what you want to charge. Okay. So there are rules to being able to pick the right avatar, but your second responsibility is to get crystal clear about who is the who. Who am I called to serve? Okay. That's number two. So, and just so you know, if for any of you are like, okay, I know how to do this, but I'm not sure how to do this, or I'm not really sure, like we have a program called the Idea Incubator that is a 4-week accelerator that walks you through this exact process, right? It is, okay, what is my gift? What is the vision that I have for myself? Where do I want to be in 5 years, right? It's about alignment, okay? And then saying, okay, here's my gift. Here's who I serve, right? Here's the problem that I'm solving, right? And here's where I want to be in 5 years, right? Now, and let me get clear about what I'm offering, right? So all of this is included in the Idea Incubator. I'm going to drop the link here before I go on to the next one because I will forget. And you guys know that if you have questions, you can drop them in the chat. Okay, so our second responsibility, okay, our second step is get clear about your who, right? All we're doing is laying out a blueprint for you. The question that we keep getting asked is, where do I start? What do I do first? Okay, so our first one is to get clear about what your gift is, okay? The second one is to get clear about your who. Who is it that you're called to serve? And then the last and final one, the third thing that I want to be able to give you is the problem. Okay, this is the part where people tend to have challenges because they forget that we're in the business of solving problems. Like that's all we do. Every product we create, every service we offer, it solves a problem. If it doesn't do that, then we're going to struggle to be profitable. So your third responsibility then becomes, okay, my gift is systems. My avatar is moms. Let's just say moms. Now, moms is too broad, but for this example, let's just say that that's what it was. Okay, well, what kind of systems, what problem would I be solving for a mom if my gift is systems? Okay, so I might be solving, let's say that my real avatar is someone who has multiple children and they're in multiple activities. And so if we put systems in place, okay, now she can manage children activities and doctor's appointments and all the things, okay, that go along with that problem or go along with that avatar. That is one specific problem. Okay, a lot of steps, a lot of different things that you might do to solve that problem, but it's a specific problem. Okay, but you could go from a completely different angle and say, okay, maybe the problem is really more related to mealtime, right? Maybe I'm a mom and I want to feed my kids healthy food, right? So here's this person that comes along that has the gift of systems. And so maybe what they're going to position their brand around is helping parents or helping moms or whoever their avatar is, set up systems that allow them to feed their children nutritious food, whether that's meal planning. Like, again, that looks a lot of different ways, from grocery shopping to meal prepping to all the things. But it's a specific problem. So your third responsibility is to take that pie in the sky, big idea, and make it a bit more tangible, right? So if I'm a life coach or I'm a personal development coach, this is the group of people who tend to struggle the most, okay? So how do I take improving my self-esteem or something that feels very intangible and something kind of vague and turn it into something tangible? But part of how you do that is by understanding who you serve. Right. So if my avatar is moms with multiple kids, well, how I'm going to help her do that looks different. If it's moms who are empty nesters, how I'm going to help them looks different. If it's someone who has one singular child or twin, like the more specific you are about your avatar, the easier it is to narrow in on a specific problem. Okay. Hopefully that's clear. If not, let me know and I'll happy to explain it again. But just as a recap, what I don't want these three things that we're talking about, your first step is wrapped into packaging your expertise. That's what this is called, right? What we call it in our camp is your $1 million idea, right? We are packaging your expertise into a $1 million idea, right? Because the idea, right, needs to be bigger than the offer, right? You don't just need to figure out, okay, here's the product or here's the service. No, we're building personal brands. Brands are memorable. Brands are stand out. Brands ain't got nothing to do with what you sell, right? So I happen to like Nike, and particularly as they started featuring more Colin Kaepernick things and things that were, they've always been a little edgy. But when they started doing some of the commercials around Colin Kaepernick, I was like, I'm in, okay? But the truth is, I don't know all the stuff Nike sells. I know they sell shoes, I know they sell clothes, but I don't really know the specifics. The truth is, they probably sell way more than that. They probably sell headbands and all kind of. So sometimes we get so focused on the products and services when we don't realize that that's next. You need to be clear about that, but that's next. It's not first. Your first responsibility is to package your expertise, which looks like being very clear about what your gift is, being very clear about the who, and then also being and I cannot stress this enough, being very, very clear about the problem that you solve in the marketplace. Helping people live their best life is not it. That's not a specific problem. We all trying to live our best life. I'm trying to live my best life. You trying to live your best life, but that don't make us, I might not be your avatar. Okay, so your responsibility with that third one is to be specific, which is such a hard thing for us to do sometimes, is to be specific. But when I tell you that it makes the journey a lot easier, it's the truth. So I wanted to make sure that I jumped on and answered that question simply because we get the question, where do I start? Where do I start? Where do I start? And one of the things that I want people to understand is that you got to get out of the idea phase, right? You got to get, like, we got all these goals of, I want to create generational wealth, and, I want to leave a legacy, and, whatever your personal thing is, I want to be able to give to the church, or whatever your thing is. But most of those goals never become a reality. They never become a reality. The question is why? Because you're still in the idea phase. Part of how you move out of the idea phase is by understanding what's next and then making the step towards that. So if I say, okay, well, I want to build a house. Okay, maybe that's the goal. Okay, well, what do I need to do? There's lots of things you need to do to build a house, but there's some things you need to do first, right? The digging and the foundation and all the things, those are the things that go first. That's what we want you to be able to understand, is that here's what your next step is as an aspiring coach. Here's what your next step is when you are still like, I got all these ideas, but I'm not exactly sure how to bring them all together and make a cohesive situation. Well, we got the answer for you in the Idea Incubator. So I dropped the link in the chat. If you guys have questions about anything that I shared today or about the program, you're welcome to drop the questions here in the chat. Of course, I'll come back and watch it and, just make sure that there are no questions that are get dropped. But the thing that I want to leave you with, right, the thing that I want you to hear more than anything else, whether you do this program or not, okay, don't be in the same spot at the end of Q2 as you are right now. Do not stay in the same spot for so long. We have to learn to pivot and move quicker than what we're doing. Okay, so if you don't hear anything else, if you don't ever join any of our programs, don't stay in the same spot for months and months and months and months and months and years and years and years and years. Don't do it. Okay, you'll never get to calling purpose fulfillment like that. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. Oh, let me just tell you, here's the overview of the Idea Incubator. Okay, so it is a 4-week accelerator. And here's what I love the most. Like, I'm super excited about this piece, is that I am a mind mapper, a whiteboarder, a post-it noter. I'm making up words, obviously. But I am a strategic planner. Okay, so I like to use lots of different things in order for me to map out something. Well, we're sending you all of those materials in the program. That's the part that I'm most excited about. I'm most excited about seeing all your post-its on the wall. You can see some of mine. You see the white one that's on the wall right there? That's nothing. You really can't see it because most of my stuff is either on a wall over here, in my hallways, different places, because I need to spread out. But we are sending you all the materials that you need to map your idea, right? There is a process to getting out of your head, okay, taking all of the knowledge, the skill, the expertise that you know, and putting it into a process, a framework that you can then coach from, that you can then teach other people, and that you can perfect over time, right? Part of how you become a great coach is by understanding how to convey the things that you already know how to do, right? No matter what it is that you're coaching people around, you have to learn to communicate with your audience in a way that works, that helps to move the needle. Well, we'll be talking about all of that in the program. Okay, so we're going to be doing, in this 4-week accelerator, we're going to be helping you map all kinds of things, from what is your vision, right? We're going to help you map out your 5-year vision. What is your skill or your superpower, your gift? Who is it that you want to serve, right? What problem are you helping them solve? Who is your market? Like, what kind of market segments do you want to choose? Helping you understand how to even understand what a market segment is. What your offers are. Like, just visit the page. It's like all these things that are included in the program, because this is our favorite thing to teach. So if you have questions, drop them below. Happy to answer them. Otherwise, I will see y'all later. Y'all have a great, I believe today is Wednesday. Don't quote me because I mess up the day in a minute. But whatever time, whatever day that you're catching this video, looking forward to having you on the Looking forward to having you in the idea incubator and seeing the momentum that you're looking for in Q2. Peace.